at their best, debates in this chamber pull the curtain back and really let the public know where people stand and why they stand there. And I think the one we just had is very revelatory. In the course of the last half hour, however long we've been talking about this bill, we have heard the Republican side of the aisle stand up for higher property taxes. They want the private industry, which pays these taxes, which get passed on to the ratepayers, to continue paying those higher taxes. Lower wages for workers, because we heard them talk out against protections for workers and prevailing wage requirements as part of these jobs. More expensive energy bills, because the Power Authority produces energy about 50% cheaper than the private industry is currently producing them. And in the name of what? Defending whom? We heard Senator Romero talk about an unfair advantage. He kept saying that. It says an unfair advantage. It's an unfair advantage. An unfair advantage against whom? Not the ratepayers who would benefit from this, not the workers who would benefit from this. Against the private power producers who might have to face some competition from a public entity. If you want to talk about competition, competition's capped right now. We have an artificial barrier. The Power Authority is not allowed to produce more than a very limited number of renewable energy projects. So I heard the protestations that my colleagues do in fact care about the climate. But all that's been made clear to me is that they care about the climate for private companies to make more and more profits on the backs of the ratepayers of the state. And if in fact, because the other thing they love to do is fearmonger blackouts. I've been hearing that for the 20 years I've been in the state legislature. For those of you who are old enough to remember, the fear of California-style blackouts were going to hit New York 20 years ago, which, by the way, is why the Power Authority built the peaker plants that we were promised would close 3 years later, and they're still there 22 years after the fact. In fact, this bill would require those to close, finally. But let's take them at their word. Let's assume they're really concerned about that. Why then would you just not want to allow another option for more power to be produced? That's all this bill does. Doesn't shut anybody down from doing their business. Doesn't require the Power Authority to do anything. Frankly, it gives them the option, if we are falling short on our goals, to step in and produce more electricity. To stop that would hinder our efforts to both prevent blackouts and improve the environment. So listening to this debate, I can't for the life of me figure out anyone that benefits from your arguments other than the private power industry. Not the climate, not the public, not the workers of this state, who would all benefit from this bill being passed. And so I'm proud to stand and speak in favor of this bill. I thank Senator Parker for introducing it, because this is moving us in the right direction. It's moving us towards a cleaner environment, a safer future, and one that we're woefully behind in addressing. So thank you, Madam President. Thank you to all my colleagues, and I proudly vote yes.